Hello, beautiful people, and welcome back to the Monie Podcast, where we have honest, necessary conversations about healing, growth, faith, and becoming our healthiest selves. I'm your girl, Monie, and today's guest is someone I've been looking forward to chatting with. She's a psychotherapist, mental wellness consultant, and the executive director of Nurturing Our Wellbeing, Inc., which is an organization dedicated to supporting emotional wellness, especially within Black communities. She brings both clinical expertise and cultural understanding to the conversation. And today we're talking about what mental wellness really looks like for Black women, Black men, especially as we enter a new year. This is about boundaries, rest, food, faith, and finally giving ourselves permission to be, well, not just strong. Please help me welcome my guest, Angelique Benois. Hello, Angelique.
Hey, hello. Thank you so much for having me on your show.
Yes, thank you for being here. Really appreciate it. I'm really excited to talk to you. I have so many questions, so many things to dive into. But, before we get into it, let's talk a little bit about who you are and what led you to this path. What led you into psychotherapy and mental wellness work?
Okay, thanks for asking. So, as far as I can remember, I've always been really curious about human behavior and the human mind and health and wellness. And so I went into nursing. So I'm actually a nurse, and I've been a nurse now for like 27 plus years. And I specialize in the area of mental health. And it was through that journey that I kind of just, how life happens, right? I never really necessarily expected this, but throughout my experiences, I realized that I wanted to do something that was a little bit more in regards to preventative. And that kind of led me in regards to where I'm at right now in regards to the mental health consulting. So so psychology, the nursing, and then I also did a lot of like yoga practitioners. So I'm a mishmash of many different.
Yeah, all health wise. I love that. Fuse everything together and put it forward. Really like that. Was there a personal moment or experience that made this work feel like a calling rather than just a career?
That's a good question. Well, I think it was a little bit of different things. Like I've always been very curious, and I've always just by nature always been very passionate about helping other people. And I guess I don't know if it was in regards to that kind of created a lot of people to feel comfortable to come to. So I was always kind of the go-to person in my friendships and so on and so forth, right? So it's kind of a pattern. So I've always just I think it's just, I've just always just been very curious. And then when I realized that it was something that I was actually really good at, and I was gifted with that ability because it does take a certain level of patience and understanding and empathy. I kind of always gone that way. And that's always really, when I think back of it, even as like a youth doing like part-time jobs, it's always been into helping. Like I never worked at like a cafe. I've never worked in a store, retail. Like it's always been something in that kind of line.
So you just followed through and just stuck with it and just made it your full-blown career, basically.
Yes. I find it really rewarding.
Yeah.
So, yeah. And maybe because seeing my mom was a nurse as well.
Yeah.
So maybe, Yeah.
Nice. Very nice. Love that. As a Black woman in this field, how does your lived experiences shape the way you show up for some of your clients?
Well, I think because of the fact, the lived experience in regards to the stigmas that are attached, especially specializing not in overall in health, but especially in like psychological well-being and mental health, there still exists some stigma. And even further, like before, there was a lot more stigma attached to this. And so I think that's a big part of it, so that I can be very patient and very present so that people feel safe in regards to talking about things and knowing that it's safe, is to not be a lot of judgment in regards to sharing. their experience in regards to their mental health. I think it's also because I have been on the other end. So I understand how it is to kind of like show up and perhaps only to be the only woman of color in that room, in that space, right? And having to kind of explain my situation. So I kind of understand, that journey. And so I just think it's a natural thing.
Yeah, it comes natural.
Yeah.
Very good. Now, the name of your organization is Nurturing or Wellbeing Inc.
Nurturing our well-being. Yeah.
I love that. Love that. Now, what does nurturing our well-being truly mean beyond the buzzwords? If you can talk a bit there.
Well, it took forever for me to land the name.
Yes.
Forever. And I was thinking nurturing your well-being, and that didn't feel right. And then I realized it had to be the hour. And I think once again, it's about that lived experience of as a Black woman. The hour is really important, like the community, right? Culture is a very important part. And when I said that, that felt right for me. And so it's about community. It's about a collective responsibility as well as an individual responsibility in regards to our wellness. It's also, the acronym is NOW. So it's also about not procrastinating. It's about prioritizing our mental well-being and mental health. Because really and truly, if we tend to like do that, as Black women and Black men too, we tend to kind of like put our needs back, and after I do this, this, and this, then if I have energy and if I have resources, if I have time, then I'll take care of myself. So it's really about no. Like if you do that, you can get ill, right? Chances are you're going to get unwell, and then you'll be forced to have to take care of it. So why not be preventative and just work now in regards to small little micro moments of your well-being? So that's the real meaning behind the business name. Yeah. And
that's neat. Yeah, it's very neat. I like that. It's your baby. The name is very important. So I like how it fits with the acronyms, how you put it, NOW, now. That's it has a nice ring to it, and it stands out. Very unique.
Yeah.
Let's talk about Black women and mental health. It's a new year, and a lot of us have New Year resolutions. We're going in and we're saying, this is the year for this is the year for that. Why do you think Black women often delay prioritizing their mental health? I know that's something we don't really put often at the forefront. Yeah.
I think there's many different reasons. I think there's an accumulation of reasons. I think there's an element of like society, right? Just like even indirectly giving messages that we're supposed to be a particular way, and we're supposed to be, the nurturer. We're supposed to always be taking care of somebody else, whether it's our partner or our children or our siblings or coworkers or whoever or whatever, right? So I think after you kind of get that messaging, even indirectly, it kind of just seeps in to us, right? And then that's passed down from generation to generation. That's what we see, right? And a lot of things are silenced in regards to our needs and our well-being and our health. And it's almost sometimes like a shame, like, my goodness, like you did what before, you know what I mean? You took care of what you want, you took care of yourself.
Yeah.
And so then there's a guilt attached to that, right? There's a lot of guilt. So I think it's one, learning it from society. I think it's passed down from generation to generation. I think it's our own thought traps, in regards to our thought traps, the kind of the things that we've convinced ourselves to believe to be true. That's really not, right? Thoughts are not facts, right? It's just, it's a lot of things that kind of our life experiences kind of shape that. So I think it's those kind of an accumulation of those type of things that kind of just, we ended up where we are. And now I see that people are slowly starting to unlearn those things.
Yes.
And kind of push back towards that. But I think those are the reasons why it's been such a resistance.
It's resistant for such a long time. It's true. It was embedded in us. A lot of us learn certain things or experience certain things, and the stigma around that mental health is so high. It just kind of makes us go into like a little bit of a shame sometimes. We don't want to disclose what we're going through and always show that we're strong, which brings me to my next question is, we're often praised for being strong. Strong.
Yeah.
How does that narrative really harm us, like that strong Black woman?
Right. That's a really good question. So I think it harms us, one, because it almost doesn't give us permission to be soft. And I often kind of say it's hard to be soft with Black women sometimes, right? So there's a kind of like a spin on words, but it is very hard to be soft and to be gentle and to be compassionate to ourselves. And when we don't have that ability, when we have that ability, when we don't feel it's safe to share that ability and to expose that ability, it really can lead to a lot of the most common kind of mental health concerns, right? Because then we feel isolated, then there's a lot of resentment, then in regards to it, it starts to impact our sleep, and then it impacts our work, so there's a ripple effect.
Yeah.
It's not one thing, it's a ripple effect. So you're asking in regards to how? Multiple ways, holistically.
Yeah,
right? In a holistic way, it really does impact us. And then if you think about our important roles, right, that it then impacts how we are able to do those things. So it impacts how we mother and how we nurture our men and how we show up in the workspace, so in multiple ways, it does impact, it impacts us.
Strong Black woman, as opposed to the same with the strong Black men. It's the same. I see quite a few men that don't really want to show that they can cry or get a little emotional. What would you say in that sense to them, that it's okay to show your emotions sometimes and wear your heart on your sleeves? What's your take on that aspect towards the Black men?
Yeah, and that's beautiful what you were just saying in regards to like wearing your emotion like on your sleeve. I know it can be a very, very, very scary thing. I work with a lot of men. I'm very blessed in regards to doing that, and it's very refreshing when there's a man who kind of has that emotional intelligence and has created a space where he can cry or share an emotion that he's hurt or that he's afraid. Those kind of like softer kind of actions. Right. But if you really think about it, it allows, when you're able to be vulnerable, it allows us to connect.
Exactly.
Right? More authentic and not feel judged. And it also allows us to have more empathy, right? Because you've allowed yourself to feel certain things. So when somebody else mirrors a similar emotion, you're able to detect it and you're able to be there with them in those moments. So I often try to just really encourage it. I welcome tears. And that, in those moments. And there's no shame in regards to that. It's the reason why God gave us tears. Exactly. Yeah.
Definitely need that. It makes the connection more authentic. I like what you said there. It's true, especially now in this day and age. We definitely need to be more kind and more connected with each other. So definitely more authentic.
What are that? It's also, oh, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah.
I was going to say that it's also really important because I also support, and one of my clients, I'm supporting youth. And so I really see that it's important to get those messaging young. So I usually speak to the adults that I support, that what you're learning about yourself, share that with your children. So your sons and your daughters, that it's okay, instead of like telling them, to suck it up and, big boys are crying, big girls don't cry. And those are really like unintentionally, there's some harm that could be attached to that.
Yeah, especially saying that to a child, they grow up thinking that they have to live according to that. I can't cry, I can't show emotions. Oh my gosh. Yeah, it's definitely a little bit of a trauma. What would you say are some common mental health challenges you see Black women facing that aren't talked about enough? You may, in your line of work, maybe you've come across a few that you're like, this definitely needs more attention, but it's not something that's really highlighted a lot.
That's a good question, because you see more of the common ones now where you will hear them talking about depression and anxiety.
Yeah.
the traumas are maybe something in regards to what that really looks like. So in regards to like racial traumas or workplace traumas, like those type of things, so I think they're starting to now have conversations and realize the true impact that it can have. Also the health in regards to menopause, right? I don't think there's the psychological impact that is correlated with symptoms of menopause. I don't think it's talked about enough, as well as caregiver stress. And, you know, as women, we tend to be in that role often, and how that really impacts how we show up at work. And we're trying to be very productive, but we're being told, you know, that sandwich generation. I think that's definitely a topic that's not talked enough about, and ways to support the women in those particular situations. Mm-hmm.
I can personally say I know someone that's going through that. When you touched on the workplace piece, just how to navigate some of those environments may be toxic, you know, and it sends off a lot of triggers.
Yes.
You know? So it's definitely something that needs more attention, and ways to how to navigate those environments, and where is the supports, and you know, so like that, you touched on that, and it's something worth exploring in sessions.
100%. And to kind of really know the different ways that the signs and the symptoms can show up.
Yes. Yeah.
Right, in different cultures. Not to say that everybody experiences those things, but in different cultures, it shows up in different ways, and they're triggered in different ways that maybe we don't understand. So this is where I'm just saying that the conversation and safe places and spaces is really needed for those conversations to have for understanding. Yeah.
Yes. You touched on it in the beginning when we were talking, but how can Black women begin setting boundaries without feeling guilty? Like, my mom is like feeling guilty. It's a new year, and she told me some of her boundaries. So, you know what I mean? When she says her boundaries, I'm just like, these are good, Mom. These are nice. But she was like, but what do you think? You think they're a little bit too harsh? You think they're a little bit too harsh? You know, she started to feel guilty. She's just like, I don't think I can carry these out. You know why I felt like that? Is because it's a little bit outside of her character. She's a nurturing, loving person, and yes, Mom, yes. And now she's just like, I gotta set some boundaries. So how can we not feel guilty when we do set those boundaries? You know, realize that we deserve this.
Yeah. I love that. No, that's funny. It's great that you're having those conversations with your mom. It's wonderful. I love that. I think one important piece in regards to boundary setting is to always be very mindful of your intention behind setting the boundaries. So you're just doing it for the sake of us exercising. You hear that boundaries is good, and you're just like, I think then it's too kind of blurry, and you can get kind of lost in the process, and the guilt starts to take over, right? But I feel that when that part of us that maybe feels guilty or doubtful in regards to what we're doing, and then we can really rely on the part of us that had that intention behind it, and we can always rely back, then that's going to always be the part of us that keeps us on track, right? So it's not to say that we won't necessarily have the doubt or the guilt, but it's about having that part, and that can kind of like not allow you to stay in that spot, so you don't spiral down that hole and you derail.
Yes, that's the right words. Mom, if you're watching, I hope you took notes.
Hold on to your intention, you know.
And all good boundaries. It's nothing to, you know, kind of like, ugh, you're really gonna do that, you know. But it's like, she just feels the individuals that she's setting these boundaries with will be like, why? What have I done? You know? So then she'll feel guilty, like, I really shouldn't have set that boundary. No, stick to it. You deserve it. This is your time. This is for you.
Yes. No, yes. And something that as well, I also tell individuals too, is kind of going into it curious. If it's a new thing, just go into it curious to see how it is if you fulfill and you stick to one of the boundaries at least. Yes. And then you feel that, oh, that felt good, and I was able to do that, and you're confident on the others.
Yes. I love that. That's really good advice. I really hope our listeners as well take notes on that one. Boundaries, well needed. What does healthy emotional expressions look like? You know, especially for women who were taught to suppress their feelings.
Well, I think you just said it right there. It's to not suppress, to not minimize. Often, a lot of the times, I think one of the tricks is people think that, okay, I can have the emotions of all these good emotions like joy and happiness and peace, but they kind of shy away and push away like the anger and the sadness and the embarrassment and the guilt. And what is really important is just that we're a full spectrum of emotions. They're all there for a reason, and they are all there to teach us something. So being very comfortable and building capacity to feel comfortable and knowing the difference is like, I feel like my daughter sometimes would say, it's like, oh, I'm so nervous. And I'm like, how do you know you're not excited?
Yeah. Yes.
You know,
Say that.
how do you know? And so even from young, teaching them in regards to that, and those are some of the things you can do, no matter what age, right? So there's a lot of the women and men that I work with who are just now starting to learn about that. And I think that's healthy expression. Is one, feeling the difference of the different emotions, right? Because emotions, as you may have not heard, it's just like energy and motion, right? So emotion is just energy, emotion. So feel that energy in your body and be able to know what emotion it is. And then how is your behavior when you feel those emotions, right? And that is what it is about healthy. It's like, okay, well, when I feel this emotion, I react more than I respond. And that's something that I want to kind of change. I want to work on, right? And that's healthy. Just the idea of being curious and wanting and being aware is the key.
Yes.
Right?
How would we tap into that with someone who's learning to be more patient? They're always, antsy and just want things done now. How would you help in that individual? How would you say they can tap into the feelings of more being patient? It's hard. Maybe I'm talking about myself.
I think we all kind of get into that mode in certain situations, right?
So I've been told I have to be more patient, and it shows when I'm not patient, especially at work with little things. It's like I want things done now. See, now, right now.
Yes, I hear you.
For someone like me who's just like, okay, I gotta exercise patience, learn patience and I entertain the feeling of not being patient. You know what I mean? I go more towards that. I really gravitate towards that as opposed to, it's okay. Yeah, take it. What would you say, or what are some techniques on how we can really tap into learning to be patient?
Hey, I love that because that's all what I'm about.
Yeah.
Those experiences in those moments, those micro moments when we're whether it's impatience and another person's anger. So this is where I'm talking about self-care the way that I view self-care, it's really giving you those little moments to make a better choice or to your better version of yourself to kind of just show up. Right. And one of many, but one of the easiest ways to do it is in regards to our breath work. And there's so many different types of ways for breathing that we can do. But specifically in regards to those moments where you recognize your blessing, nice, when you're getting like, okay, there it goes. This is my impatient self showing up. Okay, but this is what I decide I want to do, is just to kind of take up and just once again be curious. What happens with that when I do a couple of breaths? And it could be different things. It could be box breath. It could be muscle retention with the breath. It could be like, there's so many different breathing techniques, and just see what happens to that. And you'd be so surprised.
Yeah.
The shift.
Okay.
That breathing can do. Right? Because I don't know if you know really, like when you hear people say that all the time, like just breathe, take a breath. But do you really I don't know if people really understand that, like, physiologically, it's changing your whole central nervous system.
Yeah.
It's right?
I've been told that, like, take a breather, relax, just take a breath. And I never do it. Oh, come on, let's go. So yeah, I definitely try that. If it changes and helps me just really, cool down and shift gears a little bit, I definitely will implement that.
Yeah. And even just your feet. Do something with your feet.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
Lift your toes up and just say, okay, before I respond to that, I'm going to let each one of my toes land on the ground. And that time, just letting each one of your toes, you're doing something mindful with your body. And it's just like these brief moments that can make you go, I could react like this, but I'm going to decide to do this instead.
Yeah.
Right. And just practicing. It's a practice, right? The first few times it may not work, but then eventually
it won't. All right. Some good tips. Again, we are speaking to Angelique Benois. I hope you guys are enjoying our episode so far. Remember, click like and subscribe. As I was saying earlier, it's a new year, and we're all setting our New Year resolutions. But it brings pressure around diets and getting it together. Should Black women approach dietary changes from a mental wellness lens, if you will?
I'm glad that you said that, because I'm definitely not a dietitian or nutritionist. Stay my lane, but I appreciate food and mood. There's definitely a combination. And so how would I suggest in regards to it is just, once again, I'm all about slowing things down, not necessarily for the entire meal, but just in the beginning. And when I experiment with that with groups and in individuals doing any mindful eating, it is so interesting how they're like, that was so much more difficult than I thought, right? Or in regards to like, I tasted the food so much differently than I normally do. Like, that was such an interesting experience, right? So that's one way that I would suggest it is in regards to just slowing down at the beginning in regards to it. So whether in regards to if you're doing a prayer or you're taking a breath, instead of just shoveling it down your food or doing it like in regards to like an automatic in front of the TV or whatever, just slowing it down and just being intentional and connecting with the food is one of the things that I would suggest. And then the second thing is to kind of be paying attention to like what your cravings are, right? So what are the thoughts that are coming that's telling you to grab that, whatever, that chocolate bar or those chips? And I'm not dismissing that we need our little treats sometimes or anything like that. But I'm just saying when you and yourself know, and I say you, I just meant the person knows that it's off balance, it's too much, it's excessive, or you want to change, kind of be mindful of those kind of particular thoughts and slow it down in that way. So it's interesting when I say now, it doesn't mean necessarily a quick action. Now can just mean slowing down and being in the moment as well.
Yes,
right. So, paying attention to the things that are happening.
Yeah, that's good, because I'm a foodie and I often I'm always snacking and always eating. Everybody always seems it's like, you're always eating, always, especially late at night. I'm telling you, 1 o'clock. I go downstairs, microwaves on.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
That's another one.
Here, I wanted to minimize some of that because sometimes I'm not hungry, yet I'm eating. It's just a habit, So it is something that I want to implement where I'm really being mindful of what it is I'm eating. Is it just the sake of, trying to suppress something? Why I'm just stuffing all this food around.
Yeah. Or it's boredom. I was just bored.
Yeah. Oh, you touched on it, where it's something that will allow me to really look at it differently instead of always just for the sake of food. Yeah, that's a good tip. Now, do you know what's the connection between, you mentioned it, food and mood? What's the connection with food, mood, and emotional regulations? Is there any connections there?
Interesting. I've never necessarily looked at it in those three combinations, but I think it makes sense to do that, right? Because when you talk about emotional regulation, if we're not mindful of the emotions that are attached, if we're kind of like eating to soothe an emotion, like you had said, right? And we realistically, most of the time, we're not grabbing a salad. You know what I mean? Or some type of healthy, protein or something like that. It's usually something that's processed or a carb or something that's going to make us feel not the greatest after we consume it. And that can be linked also to associate in regards to the emotion to why we even ate it in the first place. So we kind of get into this vicious cycle in regards to that. And then once we're into kind of that routine, it's hard to regulate. When you talk about regulation, right? How can you regulate something if you're not giving it the attention that it deserves,
Mm-hmm.
right? If you're not connecting the dots, if you're not doing a practice where you're allowing yourself to connect it, how are you expecting to kind of regulate, to change, to alter, right? You need to have that awareness first. So I think that's when you say those things, that's how I see it. And how they're all kind of connected, right?
Love that.
Because food impacts your mood. Your mood impacts your food that you choose.
Yes.
And both of them together are going to impact the way that you regulate yourself and show up.
That's food, mood, and emotional. Right?
Yes, all together.
Love that. Love that. Now, how do we unclean diet culture and like reconnect with nourishment instead of restriction, would you say?
Well, so what I'm hearing you tell me is that in regards to that, like in regards to more like healthy eating as opposed to like dieting.
Exactly. Yes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I think that comes with knowledge and understanding. Like one of the things that I usually give to myself is I try to always, like, when I go away, there are times when I go away and yes, I want the, like, just the all inclusive and you eat, but I do try to go to also like wellness events and wellness retreats. And so there's a lot of in regards to like cleansing and raw food and stuff like that. So I think it first starts with like the curiosity, then the knowledge. So you know how to do things, because I think that's one of the things that people say, oh, I'm trying to lose weight, or I'm trying to be healthier or whatever. And I'm like, okay, what are you doing? And they're like, well, I didn't eat. That's why I'm like, skipping meals may not be the thing that you're looking for.
Yeah.
Right? It's about knowing what you need to take out and what you got to replace.
Yes.
So that you're kind of feeding your body and your soul. So I think it starts with knowledge and being okay to ask questions. Is the second thing. A lot of times we feel that we should just know, right? And so asking questions to the right people, of course, right? And being open to trying stuff. A lot of times people are like, ugh, you want me to eat X, Y, Z. I'm like, have you ever tried it? And they're like, no, but just being open to try different things. And you might be pleasantly surprised, right? When I tell people, like, you went to what? Where it was just raw food?
Like, let's sushi stuff that you're trying, or what exactly is it?
Well, sushi stuff is one side, but I'm talking about like even in regards to like it's like having something, so a lot of like dense food. So like your lentils with your vegetables, like it's dense with it. You don't always have to have greasy stuff. It's not, you know what I mean?
Yes.
It's like, I can't really explain it more than that. It's food. When you hear raw, people think just a salad.
Yeah. Yeah.
Or sushi. Right? Right. But there's more to it. It's very filling in. It's very, you feel different once you start to eat like that. You really do.
Healthy living, healthy lifestyle. Definitely trying new things with this year. I want to touch a little bit on faith, healing, and inner work. As we touch on this topic of mental health. How do faith and therapy work together, especially in Black communities? Would you say they work together, and if so, how?
Definitely. I'm very holistic in the way that I approach, even in whether it's individuals, but also in groups. I think it's really important to see all aspects of a group and of people, and their spiritual health, their faith is an important part. Right, it's a very important part because it shapes how they see themselves. It shapes how they see their relationships, and it shapes how they see the world. So how can you really address such an intimate and personal part of somebody and not include that?
Yeah.
Right?
That's a big.
So, yeah. I think also there's a connection in it because there's an element of trust in a therapeutic process that you've got to trust the process sometimes, right? It's like a lot of physical stuff. You can see it, you can touch it, it's tangible. But when it comes to our emotions and psychology, you can't see it, right? You can't see it, and sometimes you don't get the results as quick as you'd want. It's a continuous. So you do have to kind of trust that process.
Yeah.
right? And to just know that your higher source has the best interest for you, and that you're deserving of that. So I think it really it plays a role in all aspects of the things, the interaction in regards to the way that you see and forgive parts of yourself. And when it comes to trauma too, you may having to go through the process of forgiving another person, so there's a lot of, yeah.
Faith and therapy definitely goes together. It's almost like you're doing the work. You have to be able to believe that the results will come, that you will be able to see on the other side, and have faith and just believe. I like that. They do go together hand in hand.
Yeah.
What would you say to a woman, who feels therapy means that they're weak or don't trust God enough? Because before I'm in therapy, not therapy. I have I'm in therapy. I'm like, what's the right word?
Yeah.
My therapist ever so often, and it took me a while to get into that, and it's been very helpful. At first, I was just like, I felt like I was going to be weak and just sharing what I wanted to share with them and letting them know what I needed help with. I felt they would look at me like, really? That's what you're struggling with? You know what I mean?
Right.
Express what I was going through in my sessions and everything. I realized, no, you're not weak. And it was something that really needed to come forward for me to get the help and support and to look at myself in a different light. So what would you say to women? I have quite a few friends who refuse to go into it, that they're not weak, and that, or they don't feel like they're not trusting God enough.
Right. Well, yeah, what you said is very deep. And I see there's two different ways I'd respond to different things. So the big thing, you just described the process of how difficult it was, right? Whenever we have to go through a process that's difficult, right? That in itself, it shows the strength and the courage that you have, right? So just even to go and show up for yourself and to give it that takes strength, right? So there's nothing weak about that process. It's a very it's an empowering thing to do, right? And it can be very scary, right? Being able to share your emotions also is a very strength-based kind of approach of doing it. So I would kind of really, I would ask them, how is not getting help making you feel that you're strong? Like how, when you're struggling and you're crying and you're wondering, why me, and why is this happening, and what am I going to do? How can that feel strong? Right.
That's true. That's a way to look at it. Definitely, they should look at it that way, because it's what I say to them. I'm like, well, if you don't want to speak to someone, I even offer, like, I can come with you to your first session, or we can make this just to make it easy. But one of my girlfriends said she doesn't want somebody telling them that they're the problem once they reveal some of the things that they're going through. Another one of my friends says, therapists just want to know your business. You know what I mean? They look at it in a way where it's just like, yeah. So that makes them feel afraid to go deep into a session with a therapist.
Right. Well, what I can say, and I will answer your question if I don't complete that for you, but in regards to blaming and the faulting, like, that is something that you can even kind of like assess the person that you're feeling to open up with. So it's not a matter you just go and then you just kind of like blah, 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 everything. You can ask questions, share your concerns, and then you don't have to share anything until you feel that connection, because that's a really, really important thing. Like, it's really important, right? Because you don't want to get vulnerable and say it, and the other person has to be able to catch it. And I'm not dismissing anybody, but just like with any profession, there are good therapists and there are ones that maybe shouldn't be in the profession.
Yeah. That's true.
Okay. And so it's important for you to kind of do your own kind of assessment and just make sure that the person you feel that they can catch what it is that you're going to be sharing with them, because there really should not be anything about blame in that process. There's no room for blame ever. No, right? And to go back to your question in regards to feeling like betrayal of God and the relationship with God, I have had that come up in regards to it. And I guess for me, I always just get curious with it, like asking in regards to like, why do you think that God would want you to be suffering?
Yes.
Right?
That's a good question to ask. Yeah.
Like, and just kind of go with that. So it's not about, once again, shaming them for having that thought or that feeling. It's just exploring it. So that's where you start. You're exploring that with them, and then maybe work with them with that thought in itself. And that's where it kind of starts, right? In regards to that, just maybe that's the question that they need to take to the person, and just kind of help them, the therapist help them through that, right? And see how they come up with it. Right? It's because synchronicity, there's a reason why people come into people's lives, right?
Yes, it's very important. It's true. You mentioned you have to find out if they're the right fit. It took me a while as well with my current therapist to find out if they were the right fit. And you don't just know that on your first, your initial session. Took a while, and I was just like, all right, this is gonna work.
Yeah. You'll feel it.
Yeah, you'll know, and you'll feel that connection, and you just look forward to some of the sessions because you leave feeling better than how you started. So definitely encouraging our listeners, our viewers, if you're listening, to explore that path. Maybe someone said to you, you should try and get into seeing a therapist. Now is the year to really do that. Your body, your mental health will definitely thank you for it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Definitely not an insult.
No, absolutely not. Absolutely not. Why can Black women trust that good things are coming, even when they're tired, healing, and still figuring things out? What will make them trust that they're going through that storm, but on the other side of your, something good is coming your way? A little peck of motivation, I would say.
Okay. So what can be? Well, the way that I look at it is in regards to they have breath, right? So right there, they were blessed with opportunity.
Yes.
Right? An opportunity to either do things the same way or to choose to do a small pivot, something different that may give them a result that is better for them. Right? Yeah, it is as simple as those small things. Try and just do one thing different. Maybe it is, okay, I'm going to just start to do a little bit of journaling to get my thoughts down, right? And through that process, something. Now, is journaling the end up? No, but it's just one of many things that you can kind of do that can give you hope, because that's what we need. We need something to give us hope. And what's going to give person A hope is not necessarily what's going to give person B hope or C hope or D hope. Everything is a little bit different. Yes. And so exploring and having a diverse options and opportunities and strategies and modalities, I think, is something that will help people to kind of keep going.
Yes.
Yeah. Keep
small things, but they make a big difference. Those are really, we take for granted, they're very small things that we just look like we do this every day. It's nothing, but the minute you can't do any of those things you mentioned, inhale, you're walking, then you really regret and realize. I wanted to touch on menopause, as you mentioned. It's something that quite a few Black women are going through. I know quite a few that have started it early. I always thought menopause meant 50. 50 is the number. You know what I mean?
Why is that? Why?
You're thinking, all right, I'm good. 50. No, I have individuals, friends who were like 44, 45, and it's hit them. And it's almost like they feel like I ran out of time and I didn't even know. I had much time. You know, it's almost like their body betrayed them. Just time just ran out. And it's just like, so that's it. We can't explore nothing else. No, that's it. It's a wrap. What would that individual, because it's rough and it kind of affects your overall mental well-being, and it affects your mood, and you just feel like you've been forced into a category that you thought you had years to prep for. You know, it's just like, wow. Oh my God.
Yeah. Prep. I don't know if you can prep for it, whether it's 50 or 45. I don't know about the prepping, right? I know much about that. But what was your question? I think I cut you off.
I have individuals, friends that have entered menopause early. They thought it would hit them at 50. You know, what's your word of advice to them now that, you know, it's happened, you're going through it? How can they learn to accept that? I call it, your body has betrayed you, because you thought you were in this with me for the long run, and all of a sudden you dip out and left me. You know, what are some ways to really navigate early, as they call it, premenopause, as a Black woman who've entered it early? It's early.
Yeah. Well, one, I would say, I would try to kind of have a mindset shift in regards to the body betrayed you. It's doing what it's doing. It's about figuring out how can you kind of accept the situation in regards to that. And I know it's easier said than done. I know it's easier said than done. I mean, because mine just came boom, right?
Yeah.
And it came quick and furious, and you know,
what is this? You feel like you're dying or something. You're like, no, that's not what it is. It can't be. There's something else going on.
Yeah, can't sleep, getting hot and miserable. Yeah, I hear you, right? But once again, it comes with the education, because for the longest time, women's health has kind of been non-existent, right? And so they're just trying to catch up now. Like, just, you know, everyone's just trying to catch up to understand what it is, and like really on all our organs, what's happening, and how can we manage. Yeah, right. Because I remember growing up thinking, oh, and you know, someone goes, oh, she is PMS. That's it. Yeah. Right. That was the attitude, but there's so much more. So I would say kind of like educating yourself, joining groups so you're with like-minded women, that you guys can kind of talk about it now, because it wasn't something that was really talked about. That's mentioned before, right? But I think now more and more communication is happening. So to talk about it, communication is something to be ashamed about. And then that emotional regulation, what you were talking about, trying to find different strategies that can help you not only accept, but also to embrace the sensations. So now, like in regards to when I'm going at the beginning, my hot flashes. Oh my goodness. Yeah. Right? It's like heat that you've never felt before.
You feel like you're being cooked alive, eh? You're just saying, you try to play it off no matter where it is, you know? You're like,
and you're just dripping, and you're like, you know, and people, you know, I'm in people drip. So now I just tell it, I like speak the elephant in the room. I'm just like, don't mind me. I'm just going through it. Yeah. Okay. Right. So like you said, and have humor with it. I mean, it's here. It's happening.
Yeah.
Right. And it's just finding techniques that you can kind of manage and just be graceful with the sensations.
Yes.
Right. So it's that mindfulness thing again. And I know it sounds so odd.
Yes.
It sounds so odd. So there's the techniques, you know, the cold water and the fan, all that kind of, sure, do those things. But there's also in regards to like doing certain breathing techniques that you kind of just really pay attention to the sensation, and it will pass.
Okay.
And you know it passes. It passes. When you go through a hot flash, it passes. You feeling irritable, it passes. I mean, it comes back. But
you know what I'm talking about. You know, you've been there already. Yes, you know the stuff.
So one moment at a time.
Yes. And to my listeners, this question came from actually someone who knew you were coming on and wanted me to touch on the menopause or hot flash. So quite a few women can relate to that. So I'm hoping that was able to answer that question for you guys. I know it really helps me.
And I'll add something to that, Monique, though, too, because something we're talking about food.
Yes.
And that's education. So pay attention to stuff, like the things that you eat, and notice if that's a trigger for someone's symptoms. Because there's certain things like flaxseed, for example. I'm just going to give you one example. Flaxseed, the ground flaxseed, it's known to really help. Okay. So throwing it into it. So the more knowledge that you have about certain things, the better that you can manage.
Yes, that's good.
Okay.
Flax. Right? All right.
Brown flax seeds.
See, very specific, guys. Make your notes. Brown flax seeds will help. Add it to your water and just have that.
Yeah. Your smoothie. Yeah. Your oatmeal.
Nice. Yeah. I want to get into a rapid fire session with you. Fun and light. Okay. Touch on quite a few other things, but just answer the question with like the fastest answer that you can think of. So it's called rapid.
Oh, wow. It's a game show.
Rapid.
Okay. It's like I feel like I'm on Family Feud.
Yeah. Here we go.
All right. Go ahead.
Okay. Now, would you say you're a morning routine or slow evenings type of girl? Morning routine, slow evenings. Morning. Interesting. Journaling or talking it out?
Talking it out.
Ooh, I'm a journaler. Really? Talking it out, eh?
Talking it out. Mm-hmm.
That's a good one. In
the morning.
Just get it off and just
in the morning when I have the energy, my mind is clear.
Yeah, I prefer to talk it out. Okay, all right. Therapy or meditation?
Ooh, therapy. Because in therapy, you can add meditation.
Oh, you can just implement it in there? Sneak it in. Are you a tea or coffee type of?
Tea.
Tea? All right. What kind of tea is your go-to? Chai? Chai. I love a chai tea as well. Nice. I thought you were going to say peppermint. I don't know why.
Yeah, no, chai and matcha. That's my thing. Chai and matcha.
Okay. All right. Home cooked meal or ordering out?
Home cooked. Especially when I'm not cooking it.
Nice. And one word Black women need to release this year. One word that they need to just release and let go.
I can't. Word. Oh, one word? I said I can. That's two.
Yeah, one word.
Oh my goodness. I can't do this in rapid fire. I have to think this through. Oh my goodness. This is I'm totally
one word.
Oh my God. I need the music, the countdown. One word that they should forbidden.
That's a good one. We need to release that. Yeah, that's forbidden. Can't.
Yeah.
Can't is good too. I see where you're going with that, but you can say can't as well.
Yeah, that's what I was going. Yeah. And it felt incomplete without the I, but yeah, can't. I guess yeah. Forbidden.
One word Black women should embrace more this year. Which one should we embrace more?
Curiosity.
Curiosity. Yeah, embrace it. Follow through with it. Love that. Are you sneakers or heels type of girl?
Sneakers.
Sneakers?
Yes, live back and deal with no heels.
Oh. Yes. Okay, and your favorite place that you've traveled so far? Do you do a lot of traveling? If so, which was your favorite country?
I have a small addiction to traveling. I travel.
Yeah.
Yeah. As you found out at the beginning of this, what did I send you? So yeah, I love to travel. I love learning new cultures.
Yes.
I love travel. And what was your question? What about the travel?
What's your favorite? Yeah, you've been all around. Is there one place that you've been to that really just stuck with you and you really enjoyed going there?
Oh my goodness, it's so hard. I get to ask this a lot, and so many different countries come up for different reasons. But I guess the one that I will say today
Yes.
would be Portugal.
Portugal?
Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Be- because when I arrived in Portugal, it wasn't planned. I was supposed to be in Spain, and I left and went to Portugal unexpected. And I felt like I was there before.
Nice.
It was that, when you get that like deja vu. And
Yes.
I've traveled a lot and I've never had that. So I landed and I was like, I've been here before. And that sense of just that's the reason why I would say that.
Yeah, I'd have to check that spot out. Definitely would.
Mhm.
Which brings us to a segment that I like to call Good Things Are Coming. This is a segment where I like to leave our listeners, viewers with a positive affirmation to help them get through the week. So I'm going to drop a little good things are coming, and then I'm going to allow you to let them know why good things are coming. So good things are coming because you are choosing yourself, because healing is happening even when it's quiet, because rest is productive, and because wholeness is your birthright.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Love it.
All right, let's talk about
Love it.
good things are coming. Good things are coming because why? Go ahead.
Because you're here listening to the show.
Ah!
Staying kid.
Oh my gosh. Good things are coming because you are here listening to the Monie Podcast.
There you go.
That is a really good one. Really, really appreciate that one. Well, Angelique, oh my gosh, I just want to say thank you so much for grounding us, educating us, and reminding us that wellness is not optional, it's necessary. Let everybody know how they can get in touch with you, anything that you have upcoming, any services that you'd like to share.
Sure. Well, on the website, which is www.nurturingourwellbeing.com, you'll find my information there. Just, send me a note, say you want to talk, want to catch up, whatever the situation, you have a question. I'm always open to questions. So please don't hesitate. I'm mostly on LinkedIn.
Okay.
Just put in my name on LinkedIn. I am not much on the other social medias odd time, but LinkedIn's where I am. And I have a joint wellness event that's coming up on April the 18th.
Oh,
And I will send you the
yes.
information.
I will share that in our body below. Yes.
And it's going to be beautiful. It's myself with two other clinicians, and it's going to be sound healing is going to be there. There's going to be breath work. There's going to be a lot of like Afrocentric techniques and healings and approaches, yoga. So, so it's going to be
here. That's here, right?
Day.
That's not out of
Ontario. Yeah, it's more east. So yeah, it's more east. So yeah, it's not too far, accessible, and yeah, we hope to see you there. Yeah. Yes.
So, Fleur, let's be in the body below. You can see the dates and click on the link to get more information and register for that upcoming event. Very, very nice. As we move into this new year with intention, remember, to every woman listening, you don't need to earn rest, healing, or support. You deserve it. Thank you guys so much for watching. Angelique, thank you for being my guest.
Thank you for having me. Thank you.
This was very good. Until next time, bye for now.